if this is your first time watching me, my name is Jenny. So I have gotten a few requests to show you how I style my hair, and my hair is pretty short at the moment. I've had it shorter in the past, but I am very happy with the length right now, so I thought it was the perfect timing for me to show you how I style it. And in this video, I am only going to show you how I curl my hair, basically those soft waves that you see me wearing in a lot of my videos here. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. If you want to see a tutorial on how I flat iron my hair, let me know. I will be happy to film that for you as well. But if you want to see how I curl my hair, then let's get right into the video. Alright, so I washed my hair last night and I did blow dry it using a round brush. I normally shower and wash my hair at nighttime and then I style it the day after. Even though my hair is straight, it is a little bit frizzy, so that's why I like to blow dry it after washing it. And I don't do a detailed blow dry, but definitely I use a round brush just to soften the hair and that it looks a lot nicer when I go to style it. So that's the kind of hair that we're working with right now. So the first product that I apply in my hair is hair heat protectant, and the one that I use is by Got2b Guardian Angel. I did use a hair primer that has heat protectant when I washed it last night. That is by Bumble and Bumble, the Hairdresser's Invisible Oil Primer. But since I used it last night, I find that maybe the heat protectant is no longer active, so I do use heat protectant one more time right before using any hot tools in my hair, just in case, you never know. So pretty simple. I don't necessarily apply this in any specific way. I just grab a few layers in my hair and I spray a little bit of the product. It doesn't necessarily have to be that perfect. That should be enough. And then you want to brush your hair. I use this wet brush just to make sure that the product gets in all of my hairs. And something very important, you want to let the heat protectant dry, because you don't want to use the hot tool when the hair is still wet from the heat protectant, because then it's actually going to damage your hair instead of protecting it from the heat. So you always want to make sure that the heat protectant is dry. So I basically just give it a few minutes before you actually start curling your hair. You can start plugging in your tool so that it gets warm by the time the heat protectant dries. In the meantime, let me show you which is the curler that I use. So the one I use is by Hot Tools. This is what it looks like, and I used to have longer hair before. It was like almost till my butt, so that's why I have the long barrel one. You don't necessarily need a long barrel curler if you have short hair like me, but I've had this one for a long time and it still works. And I prefer the ones that have the little clump because it's just easier to do the waves. And this one, I believe it's like a 1-inch barrel. It might be 1 1/4 max. But if you have short hair, you don't want a big barrel, so 1 inch will be perfect. So this is the one that I have. And just in case you're curious, for my hair type, I normally heat it up to 400 degrees. You definitely have to test it on yourself and see if you have very thin hair. Maybe less hot will be better, but if you have, I guess, more coarse and thicker hair, you want to use a higher temperature, but that's just what works for me. I'm going to section up my hair, and I like to use these little clips that I have. You can find them at Target, Amazon. I got mine, I believe, at TJ Maxx. And you don't have to be that precise. I basically go in with my finger and I try to grab a small section like that, and then I'm going to put the rest up. And you always want to make sure to brush your hair before curling it to make sure that you don't have any tangles. And the bottom layer, you don't have to be that precise because you have short hair. Sometimes it's not even going to show. And I like to grab strands of hair like this one. It's almost like 1 inch or so. And for the bottom part, like I said, I'm a little bit messy. So you just put the clump just like that. You see, that's why I prefer the clump, and I leave it there for like 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. You see, that's a pretty curl. I'm gonna loosen them up later because I don't like tight curls. But basically you wanna just continue and grab like 1-inch sections of hair. I personally don't like to grab thick sections because I just don't like the way they look when you do that. See, sometimes I just run it pretty quickly just to make sure that it's not fully straight and that there's some sort of a wave going on. Depending on the length of your hair, the bottom layer might be the hardest to actually do because sometimes the hair is pretty short. I've had my hair short to the point that my lower layer was like up to here, and if that's the case, you might want to skip the bottom part because you don't need to curl it. You might end up burning yourself if you try, so you don't necessarily have to curl it. But in my case, because my hair is a little bit longer, I am able to grab the pieces and actually curl it. Now I'm gonna grab another layer of hair. I'm gonna go like a little bit higher than my ear and then put the rest up. Yeah, I always like to roughly brush the hair. Okay, so what really makes the difference on how tight or loose your waves are gonna come out, it's basically the space that you leave between each time that you wrap your hair around the barrel. So for example, let me show you with this strand right here. So if you want loose curls, you wanna leave a very thick gap between that turn and this turn. That makes sense? I hope I'm explaining myself. So that's gonna be a more loose curl, and you can even pull it down to make it looser. I normally just leave it alone, and then once I'm done with my entire head, then I go ahead and loosen them up. I also want to show you that if you actually prefer tighter curls, basically what's gonna make the difference is the way how you position the hair on the barrel. So if you want really tight curls, you wanna leave a shorter gap between every time that you wrap the hair around the barrel. Let me just show you. I'm gonna do one strand just to show you as an example. I personally prefer more looser waves. That's why I don't necessarily do it like that, but just watch this out. So you grab the barrel and you clump the hair almost at the root, and then you start turning the barrel, and at the same time that I'm turning the barrel, you want to push it up so that every time that the hair wraps around, it's pretty tight. Do you see how there's not a single gap between each round? So when you let it go, it's gonna be super tight like that. Do you see that's the difference? And with this one, it was a lot more loose. It's kind of hard to explain these things. I just know because I guess from experience, but I'm trying to explain it my best. So I basically do the same style of waves in the bottom 2 layers of my hair. So let me go ahead and speed up through this section, and then I'm gonna show you what I do in the top section of my hair. Okay, so now that I'm moving up in the hair, I actually try to clump the hair curler really close to the root. Be careful, don't burn yourself, but I clump it really close because I want the most volume to be concentrated on the root and not so much on the ends. And I am such a bad explainer, but I always leave the tip of the hair out. Another thing that I like to do as I am working on the top section of my hair is that, so I do the same, I put it pretty close to the root, and then I will start turning the barrel, and then I will let go the tip and then keep turning it, let go and keep turning it, and it comes out like this. So it's a little bit more messy than the other ones, and I like to do that here and there, not everywhere, but I like to do that technique in a few pieces just so that it looks a little bit less perfect and not that every single wave is the same. Just adds a little bit more messiness into the look. And another tip that I have learned is to always have another mirror like this so that you can hold and actually see from the back to see what you're doing. I want to make sure that I don't miss any strands of hair, and using the mirror lets me not miss those sections, so it's very handy to have a mirror like that. Another thing that I want to mention is that I prefer to curl away from my face. I think that's personal preference, so I didn't want to say that you have to do it that way, but I think it just looks more flattering when the waves are going outwards as opposed to inwards. You can definitely alternate in certain sections if you want. That's also something that I do sometimes. Okay, so now getting to the very top and last section, that's when you wanna part your hair to your liking. I sometimes do it in the center, I sometimes do it on the side. It depends on the day. Today, I'm gonna do it on the side. Okay, so now working on this section, I actually grab really small sections because I find that if the top layer looks good, everything is gonna look better. So I rather work in smaller sections so that it just looks nicer, I guess. You see, so this is like half the size of the other strands that I was taking on the bottom part. Okay, this one, I'm gonna do that technique I showed you earlier. So I'm gonna leave it there for like a couple seconds. Then I'm gonna move my one down and keep curling it. Moving it down and keep curling it, and then I let it go. Do you see how that wave just looks a little bit different? I'm gonna loosen it up later, but it just gives it a little something, if you know what I mean. The very front pieces of hair, I actually barely curl it, like I just leave it there for like a couple seconds and let it go because I want those to be really loose, like this one. See, that one came out really cute. I prefer the very front piece to be very loose, so I try to hold it for literally like 1 or 2 seconds and then just let it go. You see, that looks cute. Oops, it's a little hot. Always let these waves that are really close to your face cool down before you let them rest on your skin because they can burn you. Okay, so now I pretty much did my entire head. I'm just gonna use my mirror to make sure that I didn't skip any sections. So once I am done curling, I like to add a texturizing hair product, and I have 2 that I really love using. They're actually 2 different formulas. The first one is this dry shampoo paste by, I believe it's R+Co, R+ company, I'm not sure, but it's literally a paste and it is a dry shampoo. So this can also serve to soak up your oils once the hair starts getting oily. I don't care, I actually use it on fresh hair. I like it for the volume because this actually will give you a lot of volume. So you can either use that, or I also use this Oribe Dry Texturizing Spray. This product is very pricey, I know, but it really works, you guys. So you want to shake it, and with this one, so I pretty much only put it on the top layers of my hair, and this one you want to apply it first on your roots, kind of like that. This type of products, you want to hold it from far away. It doesn't smell bad actually, because hair spray smells really bad for me, but this is actually good. This is really what gives me the volume that I want. So once you apply it on your roots, I actually also like applying it like a little bit on the ends, just like that. More than anything on the front though. I think that's enough. So now that's when I actually go through the hair with my fingers and kind of like loosen up some of the waves. And now the last step is to use a little bit of hairspray. I need to have hairspray, otherwise my curls just die by the half of the day. So I personally need it. If your hair actually holds the curl, you might not need it. You feel free to skip it or use it depending on your needs. I have been using this one by Loreal. I like it just because it gives you a lot of hold. It's actually extra strong. So, but I don't apply too much of it because I also don't like when the hair feels hard and crunchy, so I do a very light layer. And it's enough for me. You probably have noticed, but I personally like to tuck one side behind my ear. I feel like it looks cuter and sexier. I don't know, that's just my thinking, but this is what I do to get these waves. What do you think? So that is it, you guys. This is exactly how I personally curl my hair and the products that I use to achieve this specific hairstyle. I hope that you found it helpful. I am not a hair professional, but this is just what works for me, just from trying out different techniques and different products. This is just what has been working for me at the moment. I hope that you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments down below if you also want me to film other hair related videos, like I can do my hair care routine, like what products I use in the shower, or just overall any hair related videos. I will be happy to film them for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done that already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.